the last few weeks, I've made fewer of these videos about my journey and documenting my journey to self-realization because I had almost no desire. I still have almost no desire to share. And it's not a selfish thing it's just, there's nothing behind it. I just don't care. It's like freeing. So I've just made less of them. But I also want to remember this time in my life and also leave a pathway, even though my path is definitely, different than everyone else's. There are going to be similarities. So I want to leave a pathway of what happened for me and what it was like working my way out of illusion to reality. And so that's why I'm making this. I don't know if this will be the final video. I'm still going to make videos. I'm actually making some meditations and stuff. I think I'll probably release one in the next day or so. And I'll still make videos. It'll probably be a little bit different, probably a different version of me as well. And, this may be the last one of the actual journey. We'll see. So the last few weeks, just to fill you guys in on what I've been up to, the whole process has just been doing roar after roar, relax, observe, allow, release, and getting to the point where, doing probably a minimum of 2 to maybe even 4 of those per day. And essentially all that is every time something comes up, very subtle. Remember, we use awareness, presence, and self-truth. And anytime something comes up that feels impure at all, well, to be honest, I usually ignore it in the beginning like everybody else. And then it just keeps bugging me. So I'm like, okay, you got this tool, go sit down. So I go sit down and I just follow that feeling into wherever it is. A lot of times it's in the heart, it's in the throat right now, or it has been in the past recently. And so I just keep going to that place, and then stuff starts to release. I start to yawn, I start to flow tears, and stuff starts to come out. And so it's just been the same thing that I've talked about in other videos. It's just gotten more intense and more intense. And it's been kind of scary, honestly, because losing sense of who I am, losing sense of where I'm going, what I'm doing with my life. And at the same time, it's like you don't care about things like your career, your identity, your safety, your income, it's those things also, you care less about them. But then it's like the tide will come in and you'll feel really good and you won't care at all. And then it'll go back out and the fears will be like stronger than ever. So as I was going through this process, especially towards the end, the lows felt really low. And I'm, my way of analyzing or understanding that is that's your consciousness raises up. When you dip back down, it feels, even though you're dipping less than you were before, or even your dips may be actually higher than what your average consciousness was prior, it just feels deeper because of where your homeostasis is now. So the dips felt very severe. I mean, it felt like the tide would come in and I'd feel good, and then the tide would go out. The whole world just works on these cycles, right? So you're like this all the time. And as the tide would go out, I would feel like I was just getting bashed on the rocks of the ocean floor. And I could even see metaphysically, I could see like the ruptures in the energetics. It was really cool, man. I could see like all this stuff. And so without getting too metaphysical, so I was going through all those cycles over the last couple of weeks, thought about sharing them. It's a lot of the same things. Different things coming up as I'm doing my roars. I'm seeing images. I'm seeing, a lot of it was healing the feminine within. I could go into that. I guess I will for a second. We, as men, we have divine feminine in us as well, and vice versa for women. And a lot of the stuff that we see in the opposite sex that we don't like is stuff that just needs healed in us. Like men have a wound from their mother. She's the one that both gives the milk and takes it away, right? So you both love her and hate her at the same time. And it's like, and I know that's like it's a very rudimentary example, but that's the core of where it comes from. Like having the breast and getting the milk, and then all of a sudden you want it and it's not there. So that literally is where the trauma begins. And so we all have these wounds, and for females, it's the safety provided by the father and then him not being there. And so I guess the point of me briefly going into that is that as you heal this, there's two pathways. There's the Ida, which is the feminine, comes up the left side. These are called Nadis. These are the major Nadis. And then up the right side is the Pingula, or I think it's the Pingula. I think I said that wrong, and that's the male side. And so for the male side, it was pretty clear on me earlier. I mean, it needed cleared, but it cleared out quicker, and I could feel this energy just coming up. On this side, I could feel it blocked, like all the way from my heart to my lower jaw, behind my ear. And that was the last thing to loosen and to break through. And then the central Nadi, which is the Sushumna, actually opens up, and that's kind of the science behind the flow of the energy that allows for self-realization. So going back to how I was feeling, I went through a bunch of those cycles. It was pretty scary, actually, and I just trusted the process, and I knew I developed a relationship with the Shakti, or the Kundalini, that was within me, that was moving through me, because I knew that it had this divine intelligence, and I was just allowing it to do what it needed to do. And it always knew right where to go. It knew right where the blocks were. It knew right how to clear them. But I just had to bring it presence and awareness. So that was the sitting down on the couch when I feel these things and just letting them go, and focusing on where I feel that pain or that stress or that subtle anxiety, and just watching it and breathing into it and allowing it to release. And that's the roar technique, guys. So if you don't know how to do that, check out the technique in the comments. That's what I used. And so I would do that. I would sit down and just start releasing, and I just started to notice more of a relationship and a reverence for the actual energy itself, which is me, Shakti. You know, we're both Shiva and Shakti, but it's the Shakti that burns through. It's the female side that was burning through. And yesterday, it came to this culmination of extreme pain. Like, I worked out for 4 days in a row. I had done so much meditation, so much inner work, that it's almost like, or it is like for me, when you break these samskaras and these traumas up, they have to come out. And when they come out, it's pretty nasty. It's pretty scary, like I've already said. But I had done such deep work that so much was coming up and out, that yesterday was a very scary day for me. It was like almost thinking that I'm, not really, but almost thinking like maybe I need to go to the hospital, because my heart hurts, my throat hurts. For like 4 days, I had like this sore throat, but I wasn't sick. And what it is it's just clearing out all these blockages. And then I released. I'll go into detail. This is going to be kind of weird for people that don't understand this stuff, which is 99% of the world. But I actually cleared a Nadi that's up between my nasal cavity and my pineal gland. And it was after I cleared that, I felt it actually clear and open when I was doing a roar. And after that, that's when all that stuff broke loose. And I had that crazy day yesterday. And what happens is when that energy comes out, it felt like kind of like when you breathe water into your nose, and it's like a new cavity, but instead of being water in the nose, it's energy in a blocked area, a blocked Nadi, that actually you feel like this. I mean, it's giving me chills right now, but it's like taking a flashlight into a dark room. It's like exploring a cave. I don't know how to explain it. It's a new area of my energetic pathway opened, which is basically all this is, guys. We're just removing these samskaras that are stacked up, these traumas, and as you remove them, the energy goes higher and higher and higher and higher. That's the whole process. And as you get, some of them are really big, and as you continue to do the work, you get some of these big scary ones that release. And so anyway, I'll tell you about yesterday, because yesterday I was like, I couldn't tell, that yesterday at the gym, I do these workouts that are high intensity, so I bring myself to a point of really high lactic acid, like in my legs. Like I'll do jump squats till my legs burn so much that I can barely walk. Like I have to walk around for like 3 minutes or maybe even 10 minutes, but it hurts to walk because my legs are like, a great way to lose weight and to stay fit. But anyway, so I've been doing that for a long time, and I thought maybe that's why I feel this way, because I'd also worked out quite a bit a few days before, but I started to realize that it was energetic. It was Shakti working within me, and I surrendered to it, but the ego was putting up some massive fights. So what did I do? I made a bunch of food, and I ate like 2 meals worth of food in one sitting just because I was trying to comfort myself. And then it's like Nisargadatta says, with the search for pleasure is followed directly by pain. And you start to realize that. I made a video about that. It's one coin, the same side. Pleasure and pain are the same thing. They're just the polar opposites. They work together. They're both an illusion within the Maya. And so I'm searching for pleasure through desire because I felt so uncomfortable. And because of all this energy had broken loose, and now it was coming out of me, right? So I was feeling all this discomfort, and I was just having all these, like, some of it was, it's not like you have crystal clear memories of, oh, that time my mom did this, or that time my dad did this, or a lot of stuff I'm feeling is it's mostly parents, honestly. And my parents were good parents, but it's just, I mean, if you want to learn about the dynamics of a family, go listen to the book of Man by Osho in my audiobook list. You'll understand how much trauma is put on us unknowingly. I mean, the parents aren't like doing it on purpose, obviously, but you get all these things that happen to you. And so anyway, I decided that I couldn't handle the pain I was sitting in. So I'm like, I'm going to eat, and that's, what is that? That's first chakra, and first and second chakra, safety and the sensation of food, right? It can be food, sex, even music, whatever. You just got to have something that makes you feel better. So I overate, and then after that I was like, oh, and I was laying there in pain. It's like Thanksgiving Day, right? And then I'm like, okay. And then I didn't want that pain. So then I had another desire. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to order ice cream. So I had ice cream delivered to me, and I ate the ice cream, and then I was in pain from the ice cream. So it's like pleasure, pain, pleasure, pain. And I was just watching all this, and I'm thinking to myself, this is a gnarly day, man. And the whole time my chest hurts, and I can feel this energy just pushing up this left side and into my throat and all through my chest. And it was painful, and it was scary. And during this whole process, this happens all the time when you're doing roars. You're like, what am I doing? Like, there's such a desire just to go back into the world and just forget about this whole pathway because it's fucking painful, right? So you're releasing all this trauma. And this is not just trauma from this life. This is trauma from past lives. Oh, I don't know if I want to go into this, but I know how I died in my past life, and I actually had to go clear that. And when I cleared that, this was a few days before, like a week ago, when I cleared that, I felt these beautiful shockwaves come in from the top. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not going to go into all that, but this stuff is so real. It's so magical and so intelligent. But really, all it requires from us in our current state of illusion is to just be present and to sit with it and not run from it. It's the whole thing I always talk about. Turn inward and just sit with yourself. And it takes time. It took me 15 years to truly start the work, even though I was like getting my spiritual PhD and building my spiritual ego. It took me 15 years to actually start doing the work. And then when I finally realized, just freaking sit down and clean the mind out, stop the thoughts, or watch the thoughts, allow the thoughts so they'll stop. You have to actually take control of your mind again. And when you start doing that, then the path begins and the samskaras come out. It took me it's been a year and a half of really, truly doing the work. Like, this is pretty much all I've been doing for hours a day, sometimes clearing the last part of this path, I've been clearing for 4 to 6 hours a day. It's crazy. And so yesterday was really hard, but I also knew that from history that the tide was out, but the tide would come back in. And I figured that, I trust the process at this point, even though I have moments when I don't, to be honest. But I have moments when I'm scared and I'm like, dude, just turn on your land company again, go back to being, whatever. I don't, whatever the ego mind needs to be safe because it wants to survive. Like, it's like, don't do this, you're killing me. This is literally what's going on in your mind. Your mind is saying, don't kill me. And the mind is not you, and you really, literally are killing the ego mind. And so it'll throw, just so you know, in the beginning, it is you, right? And so you will fight yourself. That's why very few people do this path, honestly, because you have to overcome who you think you are, which is not easy. So it was throwing stuff at me yesterday like crazy, but I also knew that there would be a pretty high state of consciousness and bliss today. So this morning I get up and I just feel really clean. And it's like you have this has happened before, but it just keeps getting better and better. You just feel like this, you can feel your energy body, and you feel like this open, beautiful, like light, airy. You can see the colors. It's like a white and a blue and a magenta, and you can see like these, like you can see the energy in your body moving, because your third eye starts to open as you start to get the energy up further. And I woke up this morning and I felt really good. I still felt like energetically sore. That's another thing, is when you break these samskaras free, you feel like a soreness. It is like water coming into your nose. It's like this, it's like these energy pathways have been frozen for so long, potentially lifetimes. And as you're clearing this ancestral trauma and all this stuff, like you actually feel like you'll open. I opened up that Nadi clear up here, and it was like after that happened, I was like, oh shit. Because now I have energy flowing, and what that means is the energy is going to hit other stuff, and it's also going to clear out once you, like, imagine you open it and you get a little tiny pathway through it. Well, now all the stuff on the walls has to come out, right? So I know that sounds kind of weird, but that's just how it works. It's the metaphysical behind it. And so I went through that crazy day, knew that I was going to have a good day. This morning I woke up and I was just sitting in meditation, and I was listening to, I think it was either Ramana or Nisargadatta. And I don't even know how to explain this. Like, I saw, he was talking about you, like, we already are self-realized. There's nothing else but self-realization. Like, it's almost like, the best way to explain this is you're a dot, and then there's all this mass around you. Like if you're the center of the earth and there's all this magma, crust, crap around you, and then there's the rest of the quote unquote world, right? And so as you break free, you're breaking down. Like, you were always there. And that's also why you're separated, because you've drawn in all this trauma and samskaras around you, to where that center of who you are is separated from everything else, because of all the mass and the beliefs of the ego mind, all of the identity, the desires, the fears, all the stuff that you think you need, you trying to fix the world. And so you start to break that stuff down, and as you break down, you drill down and you break it up, and then it has to flow out, and that's the times when it's kind of scary. So my point is that when you get to the center, you guys have heard my merry-go-round analogy. I'll just say it again real quick. Like, imagine a kid, it's a merry-go-round. It's the same thing. What I'm describing is samsara. It's the wheel of karma. It's life. It's the wheel that we're stuck in. And as you come to the center, like a kid on a merry-go-round, you're running on the merry-go-round. If you're in the center, you can throw your arms up and the whole world spins around you. The whole world seeks you. You don't have to seek anything anymore, because you're standing in your truth. The center is truth. But as you get further out from that, you have to hold on. Sometimes it's just a little bit and you feel that anxiety. Other times when you're out on the edge of the merry-go-round, your legs are flailing out the side and you get thrown off, right? So that's a great analogy of being off your center. And so as we work towards that center, what happened to me was I touched the self-realization. I saw that I was already self-realized. And I don't know how to explain it. It's like it was always there. It was like I got my circle down to this big, just to give you guys, because I can see the metaphysical. I got my circle down to this big, and then it's like a wormhole, and I touched the truth. And I saw that I was everything that I was searching for, that I already was. And that's what the masters tell you. You already are self-realized. But the reason you can't see it is all this mass around you. So now what happens is when you touch that, you can't unsee it. It's like the biggest cosmic joke. Like, you were always what you were searching for. And I know we talk about that, and everybody said that. And it's like, it's this difference between like knowing something, like we know that all is one, we know that love is the answer, and then actually experiencing it. There's a huge gap between that, right? And so I touched it and I actually felt it and I actually knew it. Like I actually experienced it. And it was like, I just wanted to start laughing because I was like, I can actually feel it right now. It's so funny. It's so funny. You know, and then it begs the question, like, if we're already self-realized, why do we have to do all this stuff? And then that is the question, like, can you just go bam and come right to your truth? Some people can, very few can. So we actually need a process to eliminate an illusion that isn't even real. And if you can do it without the process, you know, whatever your process is, I use the roar technique, whatever your process is, if you can do it without the process, more power to you. And technically you don't need it, but you kind of do, because you're so far in illusion that here's your center, here's your truth, and here's where your focus is, because you're out here on the edge of the merry-go-round, right? And from here, you don't know the way home. So you have to start breaking back through and coming back through. So I touched it, and now it's not that I am karma free. It's like, if I were to describe it, I know who I am finally. But there's still some karma moving. It's like a great analogy is, you know, you're sitting on the shore and you're watching the river, and the river's all the karma and the world and the illusions flow by. And then every now and then you see something interesting in the river, and you get back in the river and you're like holding onto it and you're like drowning again. And you're like, oh shit, I forgot who I was. So then you go back on the shore and you sit there and you watch it again. And so there's still debris moving through my river, right? So it's not like everything is just crystal clear and I'm, you know, there's higher states from here. But I self-realized and I touched it, and I know I thought about making this video. I'm like, I don't care what people think. Like, I want this video for the true seeker, and I want it for myself so I can remember. And fuck, I worked so hard for this. And I don't know, maybe I didn't, you know, part of me wonders too, like all of this stuff that I was breaking through, like it would be nice to think, and you talk to a lot of people that I think maybe, sometimes I think they're spiritually bypassing, but you talk to a lot of people that think that you can just become love, and, you know, but it's almost like wearing another mask. So did I have to go through everything I went through? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I did, but did I? I don't know. But it was my path, and that's what I did. So, you know, I think there's a lot of danger in bypassing feelings and acting like, you know, because you can put on a mask, a personality, and be love. You can be like a top author and write books about love and still never self-realize. And everybody you meet can be like, oh, she's the most loving person I've ever seen. But it's all an act, and only you know. Like, what are you really like when you sit on the couch and close your eyes and you're going through something? Is it clear? Is it soft? Is it open? Is it vast? Or is it something that you can't even control? There's your answer. So don't bypass it if you want the truth, man. I mean, and that's really what everybody does. And there's nothing wrong with however you want to live your life, but most people aren't even on the spiritual path. So they just build this persona, this personality, and they just live in this ego thermostat where, like, you know, back to the earth. As long as they're this far away from the center, they get too close to the center, they find out some truths about them that hurt so much that they jump right back to their thermostat. If they get too far out from the center, it's like, oh, I'm too crazy, I'm drinking too much, or I'm not living this way. So they just stay in this little ego thermostat, right? And so that's the way most people live their entire life. And that's why truth has been paramount for me, because I knew that there was more. So I used the sword to cut my way in. And as I cut, the debris that came off the sword was nasty. It smelled, it was horrible, it was memories, it was traumas, it was truths and realizations of who I fucking was that were disgusting ways I acted and was. I mean, not not stuff that isn't normal in the world, but it's just stuff that isn't you. So did I have to go through all this? It doesn't really matter, because I did, and I'm grateful for it. And if I had to guess, I don't want to put a pathway on anyone, but I would say that you do have to go through and clear most of this stuff out. And like you really know, like there's always that temptation to just go and sit on the sidelines and stay in the ego thermostat. And the ego's the one that wants you to do it. And you think you're the ego. So you're like, I'm fine. I'm good, man. I'm good. And you are fine. You are good. It's just, do you want the truth? Like the absolute truth? Or you just want to settle with what you know that keeps you comfortable? Only you can answer that. So that's what it was like for me. And I feel amazing. I feel better than I've ever felt. And as I've gone on this journey, I've felt better than I've ever felt as well. But I've also had that tide come out. And, again, with the circle, I came back out, and it's like there was a lot of pain on the way, and it was just me working my way in, getting higher truths, feeling better. But then when you feel this good, this close to the center, and then you back out to here, it hurts more than when you were actually living out here. So this is frequency and vibration. This is the way out of the matrix. This is the fucking truth. So there it is, man. I don't know what else to say. This journey is not for the weak, I can tell you that. Know thyself and be free.